Casey Campbell did not make an explosive device and place it in a trash can at Park Lane High School. The state has it wrong, and this case should have never been brought to trial. Ladies of the jury, Your Honor, thank you for the attention that you have given to this case. There is no question that the police found some sort of device in the trash can at Park Lane High School. However, the issue in this case is whether or not our client, Casey Campbell, is responsible for that device. The answer is clearly no. Casey is a typical teenager. She does well in school, and she's even planning a future for herself that she hopes will involve art at UCLA or NYU. In her free time, she enjoys drawing and painting, which is why it was beyond devastating when something which brought her so much joy was suddenly being used in an attempt to destroy her life. Before we take a closer look at the evidence in this case, I'd like to discuss some important legal principles that I feel are necessary. These principles help protect each and every one of us as American citizens should we ever find ourselves in Miss Campbell's situation, an innocent person wrongly accused of a crime they didn't commit. The first legal principle is the presumption of innocence. This presumption of innocence is like a cloak that we all wear as American citizens. This cloak of innocence cannot be removed unless and until the state meets a very high burden of proof, a burden that the state has not met in this case. Which brings me to my next point. The second one is the burden of proof. In our criminal justice system, that burden lies with the prosecution. We do not require any person to prove his or her own innocence. And the final legal principle is the standard of proof, which in this case is beyond a reasonable doubt. My co-counsel Jennifer Lee told you in her opening statement that beyond a reasonable doubt is the highest standard of proof and is also very difficult to obtain. She also asked you to see reasonable doubt as a brick wall being built across the road to a verdict. It is the job of the prosecution to remove each and every brick of reasonable doubt in order to make a conviction. However, you, the jury, only need one brick of reasonable doubt still left in the road in order to do your duty as a jury and return the verdict of not guilty. Just one. That should be very easy in this case, considering that the majority of the wall still stands, and I will point out the three biggest bricks of reasonable doubt still left in the road. Brick number one, the story the prosecution is asking you to believe. In this case, reasonable doubt walked right up in front of you, took the witness stand, raised her right hand and said, "My name is Sawyer Simpson." Sawyer has a history of bullying, which she initially denied when speaking with Ms. Cortez. When accused of bullying, Sawyer knew exactly who her victim was without having to be told. She also claimed that she saw Casey at 6:45 the morning of the anonymous call, when in fact Casey didn't even arrive at school until 7. Casey Campbell was accused of being obsessed with Sawyer. However, Sawyer was the one who admitted to Googling Casey and even stalking her Flitter page. If Casey had made this anonymous phone call, Sawyer would have seen her in the area by the phone booth. However, she testified today that she did not. Members of the jury, it's no coincidence that people who have crossed Sawyer in the past have the tendency to disappear. Brick number two, was this device actually a bomb? Dr. Atkinson testified today that even if the device had been wired correctly, it would have never exploded in the normal atmosphere, in the atmosphere that the device was found. And the tests performed by Dr. Killian were faulty and do not prove that this device was a bomb. Brick number three. No other suspects were even considered in this case. There was never any voice analysis done by Officer Riley on the anonymous caller. And Officer Riley took Sawyer's story at face value and arrested Casey based on fingerprints on a can of paint thinner and also some art that she was not qualified to interpret. Casey Campbell didn't end up here today by coincidence. She's here because of the prosecution's willingness to believe in coincidence. Also, just as Casey Campbell brought up the Mona Lisa, art is subjective, and the statement that the prosecution made in their closing, that we can see into her mind through her paintings, unless we're talking about telekinesis powers, I believe that is false. If any elements of the bricks of reasonable doubt left in the road that allows you to do the right thing and find the defendant not guilty on all 3 counts brought here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Counsel. Any rebuttal?